Welcome or welcome back to Heretic Owl Tarot. I'm so glad that you're joining me for these messages. It just brings me so much joy to read your cards. Speaking of, my calendar is now open for personal readings. The link for that is in the description below. Of course, anything you could ever want to know about this reading is going to be in the description below. And honestly, that's really all I have. I'm not even sure what decks we're going to be using yet. I just started getting that poking feeling last night to start putting out messages again. So that's what we're going to do. And this is probably the quickest intro I've ever done, but let's get into it. Hello again. I don't know if I said that in the intro, but it's habit at this point. So I just say hello a million times. So first, let's see who's next. We have 3, 6. Now, I usually have a website pulled up to where I could read a little blurb about the profiles, and I didn't have that this time. And I've tried looking around, and there's plenty of information out there. However, nothing was really, nothing was really hitting the spot. So I just kind of figured that for whatever reason, maybe that wasn't as important this time around. Okay. These cards are almost too big for my hands. And I have long fingers. So anyway, I will pick up on that next time around. And of course, the third line is the martyr line. That's the line that's all about trial and error, bumping up against experiences, people, making and breaking bonds. Having to try things to see how they work, if they work, see how they don't. And then the 6th line is the role model line. And for the first 30 years, the 6th line operates as a 3. So for the first 30 years of your life, you were a 3-3, which is it can be chaotic just because, you have nothing but trial and error, And then the after your Saturn return, you go up on the roof a little bit, but that third line is going to keep trying to pull you down and, wanting to sink your hands into something. But during that second stage, that's when you really start kind of sifting through, what stays and what goes. And then after you're basically around your second Saturn return, or after the age of 50, is when you come off of the roof all of the way and live that full expression as the role model. And that's more so about living your life authentically to you. And you become that role model simply by existing in your authenticity and other people observing you. And it's when you give yourself permission to be exactly how you are, you give permission to other people to also be exactly how they are. That's that role model. So just a quick overview of that. And then of course, you know, the profile is only a portion of the big picture. You have your strategy and authority. So, you know, your strategy and authority is going to help you determine what experiences are correct to enter into. And your profile is how you navigate through those experiences and the people involved. So definitely check out your strategy and authority and get comfortable with that understanding, and more so even, you know, experimenting with that and letting that lead the way. And we're looking for just an oracle card for the overall vibe for our 3 6s. This is the Everyday Witch Oracle, and then we have the Everyday Witch Tarot. I literally just got these the other day. Poor things. And then I was like, you guys are going straight to camera, so I hope you're ready. A little camera shy. We just need 1 card for our 3 6s. We have Water Magic. Whoop, whoop. This has a very Ace of Cups kind of vibe to it. You could be a water sign. You don't have to be. There's a full moon tonight also, so this could be a reminder or an invitation to make moon water. You know, like set intentions on what you are wanting to release. Full moons are for releasing so that we can create space to set our intentions with new moons and invite energy in. So it could be that, and of course, even just with the water element, really getting in tune with the heart space, with your emotions. How are you feeling? How do you want to feel? What feelings do you want to release? Okay. That was the magician that went flying. Speaking of magic, that's funny. We just need 6 cards. I love that the cat is even playing. There's a fishbowl here on the bottom, and the cat has their little paw in there. It's also interesting that they're getting water from this fountain versus from this lake back here. It could be a reminder about hydrating yourself. You know, like filtered water, purified water. We have the 10 of Wands. The 2 of Pentacles, 7 of Wands. There's a magician again, but we're only taking 3. We only need 3 cards. Justice. 2 more. The Knight of Swords and 1 more. The 8 of Pentacles. And then the Page of Cups at the bottom of the deck. All right, let me just make sure everything is in frame here. Okay, hopefully that's a little better with the glare and the lights. It's interesting that the only 2 water cards that we have on the table is this Water Magic and then the Page of Cups at the bottom of the deck. I'm kind of interested to read what it says about water magic. Here we go. Water is a powerful force. It can wear down a mountain or create a lake. It brings life to the fields, but can also be violent and impossible to control. Not an element to be taken for granted, as you will know if you have ever been thirsty or lived through either a drought or a flood. Most of the time, though, water is our friend, and we can use its power to help us change and transition through various stages of our lives. Water is fluid and flexible and reminds us that we can be that way too. Love that. Because that does kind of feel like what this is. So we start with the Ten of Wands. And the Ten of Wands is about burden, overwhelm. Wands are fire, but they're about motivation, the actions that we're taking, how we're communicating. They can be information, how we're getting information, how we're giving information. And when we get to the 10, it's a completion, right? We start at the ace, we end at the 10. So the 10 of Wands, I see that as being, the experiences that we've picked up along the way. And sometimes those things can be a burden, as you know, right? I'm sure no matter where you are in your life, having the profile that you do, there's bound to be some sort of energy that feels like the 10 of Wands. When we can see them walking uphill with these 10 wands. And, just their face, right? They're expending some energy here. And maybe life has felt like an uphill battle. Maybe also too, the experiences that you have had and the things that you have learned have been quite the burden on you, on your life. But like I said, with it being a 10, there is a level of finality. I don't know if you've heard like that audio on TikTok, but that's enough slices audio. That's how this feels. And with it paired with a justice card, it's like, justice talks about fairness, the scales balancing, karma, good or bad or otherwise, getting what you deserve, good or bad or otherwise. It's a card of Libra. There can be a Libra around, doesn't have to be. And with it paired with the 10 of Wands, that to me is saying that there is some sort of leveling that's coming in. Maybe a reprieve. But also it's like knowing whatever, the 10 of Wands has been or is, there is a level of justice with it. It can be if there's some sort of court or legal battle. This is literally a legal battle here. It's been taking up a lot of energy, a lot of your time. You might have even had to be really involved with it. And especially too, like with this Libra card, there's a blindfold on them, but not over one eye. So it's like, I want to say that your efforts have been recognized, or it's like they're not going unnoticed, even if it feels that way. And what's so interesting too, and I know you can't see me, but this whole reading, from the time that I started this video, I've had my eyes closed the whole time, which is not common. I'm usually looking, in a million different directions, or outside, or, whatever. But this whole time, my eyes have been closed. which is also kind of interesting. I feel like that is part of the message. I do wonder if you have been guided by your emotions, if you have been feeling even a bit like emotionally depleted. It's like taking one sense out, the sense of sight, right? Maybe you're tired. I mean, I don't feel tired, but my eyes are closed, so I'm just throwing that out there. And then we have the Two of Pentacles, which talks again about balance in a different way. This is earth, this is air. This is, balancing responsibilities. And also with the figure 8 on there, the infinity symbol, it's, energy constantly in motion. And how, again, even look how they are on this seesaw. It's balanced. And on this, the Justice card, the scale is balanced here with the dark and the light energies. That's your shadow and your light. And then this person is standing on the seesaw. And also even, this black cat showing up, it could be coming from the shadow side. So it's like, maybe even feeling like you're at a place where you feel more unbalanced, in balance, and also just better able to handle when your shadow comes up, or that's however you refer to it, your ego, your inner child, shadow, however you refer to it, they're all pretty much the same thing. And that will come in and try, especially if you are like putting yourself out there, or especially if you are trying new things, really working through some other stuff, that shadow could come up and try. Pentacles also have to do with our money, how we're getting it, how we're saving it. It's our physical body. It's, materials, resources, tangible things, the 3D. And then we have the Knight of Swords. And the Knight of Swords is, again, with air. It's, air is about our thoughts, our mind. It is our ego, because that's generally where we hear our ego, is in our minds. And our ego is made up of the stories that we've attached to the experiences that we have had. Whether those were our own stories that we came up with, or if they were projected onto us by, other people in our lives. And the Knight of Swords it's the fastest moving knight in the deck. We can kind of see that here just by the art. They're moving pretty quickly, full speed ahead, right? That's the Ace of Swords. The 8, also having to do with truth, our divine truth, honesty. And the Knight of Swords, like when they have their minds made up about something, it's hard to change their minds, which sometimes is good, sometimes, what's the word? Annoying? Sometimes. Even this cat, again, interesting with this black cat. Even this cat is like, look at their eyes, if you can see that, hopefully. They're like, oh, a bit wide-eyed. And the feeling here that I just got was not allowing your ego or shadow to throw you, like too off course. I'm kind of one of those people that I'm not entirely sure if there's even such a thing as going off course, because you'll always find your way back. And if you wind up off course, especially with the third line, it's experience, right? It's trial and error. You learn what works, you learn what doesn't. You bump up against life and experiences. Literally nothing is a mistake. Nothing is a failure. It's all information. But it's also dependent on how you look at it, right? If you look at it as a burden or a failure, then yeah, you're going to see it as being a negative instead of it being empowering and potentially able to help other people, including yourself. And two, like being in this energy, like maybe you do feel more grounded, balanced. And then it's like this idea comes up and you just want to like move very quickly towards it. Or even, like put it into practice and see how it goes. It's interesting that we have the Seven of Wands over here too, because like I said, it can be hard to change the Knight of Swords mind. And that's pretty much what the Seven of Wands, is about. It's standing your ground. It's being defensive, good, bad, or otherwise. I always see, the Seven of Wands as being, there's this figure here clearly in a defensive stance. There's a cat, again. It's also interesting that after the Justice card, the only cat that's on here is a black cat, which again would signify the shadow side. Not a bad thing, like making friends with your shadow side, like being besties with your shadow side is probably the best thing that you could do for yourself. Like really understanding what your ego is created from and about and who. Like knowing yourself so deeply that you can process those things that we consider to be quote unquote shadow or ego or inner child. I mean, like I said, they're all pretty much the same thing. I just think that's interesting. There's an orange cat here that shows up back over here. So back to the Seven of Wands. I see these 6 wands as being other people's projections, other people's fears, their doubts, their reasons why not to. That could also be people trying to change your mind about this. And you're just standing there like, no. They're, backed up against like a cliff too. You could be feeling a lot of pressure, whether that is coming from other people or coming from within yourself. And you know what they say, diamonds are created under pressure, because we have the Eight of Pentacles here. And the Eight of Pentacles is about practice making perfect. It's understanding that you have to put energy into a thing in order to get out the thing that you want. It's putting in the work, it's putting in the time, it's putting in the energy to get the time, the energy, and monetary value out of it. This could be, defending what you want to do with your life, how you want to spend your life, how you want to, make money, where you want to live even. And it almost like started with recognizing that whatever is currently or in the recent past is a major burden for you, and deciding that you deserve better. And then this whole thing opens up. We have the Page of Cups here, which is about imagination. Again, with the cups, right? We have water magic over here. They're using the cup for their paintbrushes. It's allowing yourself to get creative from an emotional place. It doesn't even have to be painting or like a craft. It's just allowing your mind to expand on what is even possible. Allowing yourself to even stop and smell the roses. We have the Empress, which is about, again, expansion. This is also Libra or Taurus. And this is about being in the flow, like the card was saying, the water magic card, even though this is Venus. But the Empress talks about abundance. It's abundance of whatever it like resources, time, money, love. There's a fertility aspect to it also. But I mean, that can be literal, but it can also be like reproducing something beautiful, creating something beautiful from yourself. Again, with this black cat here too. But also look at, playful, having a good time, temperance, the black cat again. Temperance is about blending of energies. It's alchemy. There's a patience element to this as well. It's like once you decide to head off into a certain direction or change your pattern of behavior, your pattern of thoughts, it's like, the powers that be, the energies that are out there, it's like they have to recalibrate, and they will, to this new output. So it's like, it takes time for even, this expression to actualize. So again, there is this aspect of patience, but also balance, because we have water, again, being sure to hydrate. There's some carrots there. And then on this side, there's cupcakes and a martini. So it's, everything in balance, everything in moderation. Don't go too far in one direction of extreme. And you'll figure that out. The King of Swords. There's the white cat. The one time, well, the second time, I guess, after the Justice card, that the white cat shows up. This is clarity of thought. Even going from the Knight of Swords to the King of Swords. Knowing what you are to do. Knowing more information. Even if there's all these books back here. They have a book open that they're reading. There could be something involving books, something about knowledge, but kings are the highest expression of the suit. So it's discipline of thought, but also being able to share your ideas with other people, and even being able to lead in a certain capacity. Beautiful. I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much again for allowing me to read your cards. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.